It's Kamala, and I want to share to you today something, and it's pretty nice to share it on Christmas Eve. It's about sharing salvation with the world, Feast of the Lord, and also coming behind a false teacher named EXTOL Yeshua Always, who is offended in her latest video at the word blow up the trumpet, she's claiming is an insert. No, it's not. And here we go to Feast of the Lord, Psalms 81:3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. It always was that way. And here's a JPEG of it saying the same thing. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day of the new moon. I learned something about the Jewish traditions that I didn't know, that it's called Rosh Chodesh, is a Hebrew term for new or renewed moon. So that's why it's saying blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. It's a time to come together with believers and sound the shofar. The moon is a heavenly body that cannot produce its own light. Israel also has no light of its own, but she would learn she was to be a light to the nations. On Rosh Chodesh, the moon's light breaks forth from the darkness and brings light to the world as a reminder to us of our calling and purpose. Our purpose is to bring the light of salvation to the world. We are to be reflecting the light of Torah into a dark world. I think that's beautiful. That I didn't know that it was the feast of the new moon, and so I have learned something from that psalm. Happy new moon, Israel. I think it is quite beautiful. And blowing the shofar, which is the trumpet in King James. Oh, and by the way, the Hebrew word for the blow up is sound. I checked that in the Strong's edition and looked it up, to sound it. And so she's just fishing is what she's doing. And if she would just pay attention to this is one thing. It doesn't seem so much a question of whether or not God is still speaking as it is to whether or not we are willing to listen. For some reason, EXTOL Yeshua Cat is listening to Satan instead. And I'm actually very sorry for that on Christmas Eve, that she is doing that. But I learned something quite beautiful in Hebrew, which I can't read. And I'm going to leave the video with this beautiful picture of this, and thanks to God for something that I learned about blowing the new moon shofar. Just lovely. Thank you, Jesus.